Welcome to the Niagara County Central School District podcast. Today, we are very excited to announce that Superintendent James Darrison is on with us. Hi, James Darrison. I'm Mr. Darrison. How are you this evening? Well, this morning, I should say. But no, this evening. How are you? Good. Thank you for having me. Thank you for being on. We've got a few questions we want to ask you that our viewers have gotten. Just plain old questions about the school district and what you do, as the superintendent. So what is one thing you do as a superintendent? As a superintendent, I am pretty much in charge of making sure that the district runs smoothly, that budget and things are created for the 2000 school year, but the following school year. I'm also responsible for making sure that the district has enough resources available to it. Interesting. So you're basically like, how should I say this? You're pretty much like the district's owner and operator, pretty much, yeah. So we have a few more questions here that the people have asked. And this is pretty much the questions we're just going to ask you, okay? So, what are your policies about the LGBTQ community? What are your policies? A few of our policies include making sure that they're protected in school, as well as making sure that students are acting fairly towards them and that they're not discriminated against, and to make sure that all other people who are involved with it aren't bullying others and making fun of them. And now we're back. Welcome back, guys, to our podcast. We have a few more questions to ask James Darrison before we get our next guest on. And the last question actually is, what policies do you hope to create while in office? Well, I hope to create an Equality Act, like an extension to our Equality Act. What this act will do, it'll sort of act as a starter for, creating equality rights for all students of the LGBTQ community, of the Gay Straight Alliance, of people that are straight in our school district. And we hope to pretty much create these policies to help push this process forward while creating and maintaining fairness and an equal educational experience. I also want to create a vaping policy that says that if you vape, you're suspended for maybe a month or two. And this will kind of combat our issue of vaping and smoking in our school. But don't you think that would get people to not want to go to school then, and they would keep doing it so they could get suspended? Well, with this policy, it'll pretty much be an in-school suspension for the 2 months, and you'll be on close watch with our administrative staff. James, thank you very much for coming on. It was nice seeing you again, and we hope you come back on soon. Oh, for sure. Thank you very much, sir. Yep, thank you for having me. Coming up, Jack Connors of the Niagara County Central School District Board of Education will be coming on to discuss his autism and how he deals with it on a day-to-day basis and what led him to become such a great Board of Education president. That's coming up next. Welcome back to the Niagara County Central School District podcast. Tonight, and on this episode, we will be talking to a few special guests, one being Jack Connors, and he's going to be talking about his autism and how he's managed his autism.
Welcome, Jack. Thank you for being here.
We're good. A few
Thank you for being on the show.
That our viewers have gotten.
Can you give us a little bit of brief summary of when the autism, you realized you had autism?
About the school district.
Well, I realized I had autism really young. I was like maybe
as the superintendent,
13 or 14 at that time. And the doctor said that
I'm pretty much
I was delayed in my education. Like, say, okay, you know how we work at a school district, obviously. But you know how you do math for per grade level? They say I was a grade level behind, so I was put in special classes. So the special classes would help me.
Interesting. So you're basically like,
what's the word? The special classes would pretty much get me up to the level that I'm at. Like Jesse, you know, with you, you're in normal classes.
Pretty much, yeah.
I was not where you were.
So we have a few questions,
but me, as being Jack, you know, I was a little delayed. So they put me in special classes.
Okay.
So with that, then the doctors realized, well, he might have a little bit of onset autism. My mom was crushed. She thought that, you know, when you had autism, you know, it was a devastating disease. But they said, no, this was a mild case, which was okay. He still can develop. He's just going to be slow. Over the years, having it for so long, now being 47, I kind of learned how to deal with it, you know, and so, like when my mom or dad asked me a question, they always make the joke, I was like, oh, there's slow Jack, and they're not being mean, they know that I'm quick on my feet now. So they try to make crack jokes, and I'm right there cracking them with them. So that's pretty much when I learned about that. But I've managed, basically how I managed that is just a bunch of repetition and doing the work and doing whatever I could possibly do to get myself there. You know, so where one kid would see a devastating disease, I saw it as a strength and a weakness at the same time. I worked towards a certain goal to get to the goal that I needed to be at. So that's how I set up the goals to get to where I am, you know, today and I'm getting better. So you basically managed. Did you have any support from your family or anything of that nature? When I was, I'm trying to remember, how old was I when this happened? So I was 13 when we realized we had autism, and over the years, I was the eldest of them all, so everybody tried to help me out, and everybody was super supportive and everything, and it was cool. And it was very supportive, and I really, really appreciated everything that everybody did for me. You know, you as a kid, you're thinking, well, this is a disease that I have that's could be a pretty bad disease, but I managed just fine. Jack, thank you very much for being on the show. If you have any questions for us or you have any comments you want to say, go ahead and do it now. If not, then we will see you soon. No, I'm pretty good. Thank you for having me on. You're welcome. Thank you for being on. Now on to our next guest. We will be discussing a few events that will be happening here within the next couple of days. There will be a Board of Education meeting tonight at 9 p.m. If you want to be there for the public hearing, you can do that. Tomorrow there's going to be a faculty and a teacher race on the Niagara County High School track, as well as there will be a fundraiser on Monday to help raise money for kids with autism and autism awareness. So be ready for that, and we look forward to seeing you there. Now, on to our next thing. We are excited to announce that Jack Connors will be up for elections during the 2021 school year. So if you want to vote for Jack, make sure you do that. The voting ballots are now available online. You can see how they're set up and see who you want to vote for. All right, our next guest is Superintendent James V. Darrelson. We had him on a little bit earlier in the show. Now we're going to have him on again, and we have a few more questions to ask him. All right, James, thank you very much for joining us today on the show. We have a few questions that we got from a few people, so let me grab them really quick. When you were a kid, did you ever struggle in school or any kind of extracurricular activities, and how did you manage to get through it? Well, I was always really bad in math. And as a superintendent, you need to be good in math to be able to set up bills and create budgets and everything like that. So over time, I started realizing that I'm struggling here. And so what I did was I made sure that everything that I did was backed up by, a parent checking it, or one of my teachers checking it, or a family member checking it to make sure it was good. And so over time, I slowly began getting better at math. And this is a thing that I don't think kids understand nowadays. Things aren't just going to come naturally. It's going to take a little bit. And I think that's what they struggle with sometimes. Because being able to accomplish something for the first time is not very rewarding. After you work so long on it, after a while, it becomes rewarding. And so that's what I struggled with, and I really looked forward to when I was able to do math really good, and I got good grades and stuff. So repetition definitely is key in your success. So, all right, we have the last question here, the second and last question that we got. We'll have more. He'll be on a lot more later on. What do you think kids struggle most with in school? The thing that I think kids struggle most with in school is the cooperation. The cooperation is a big part of life, human life. There's a lot that goes into it. There's a lot that needs to come out of it as well. So when a student can't cooperate with another student and work to create a common goal or reach a common goal, that's where I think most of the students at the district have a hard time. And that's with any student. That's not with just like our students. That could be with any school district in New York State. It's the cooperation that really sets the standards for miscommunication, you know what I mean? And so a lot of that happens because there's students that can't cooperate the right way. There's a way of cooperating that gets stuff done while also allowing you to express your views and opinions and things like that. And I think that's where kids struggle with. All right, James, thank you very much for coming on today again. I know we had you on earlier in the show, but yeah. So thank you very much for coming on. Thank you very much for having me. All right, guys, so that's the end of the show. We hope to see you guys next time. We'll see you all next time. Take care.